Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the King Leo Show. We're a little early. Sorry about that. Let me check if the audio's okay. 1 second. How's everyone doing tonight? Good evening, everyone. Our audio's okay. How's everyone doing tonight, man? Welcome to the King Leo Show. 2 minutes early. Shouldn't be this early. We've had the notes on it. Happy Black History Month, everyone. We have an interesting show today. Not a whole lot of news, but a lot of interesting subplots, So there's a lot to get to. It's going to be fun. We got to wait till 10. I know we have to wait till 10. Hope everyone's having a wonderful... What do we do with this pre-show time? We need to start doing that in case we're ever early. We need a pre-show. By the way, you might have seen me in these. These are my blue blocker glasses. Blue light blocking glasses. These are cheapies from Amazon. These are worth it, man, for sleep. I don't really know what we could say. I feel like I'm having everyone else miss out on the show that's coming in on time. Let's see here, man. I hate Windows. Yeah, maybe this will just be a rant right here. I hate Windows because it doesn't show the seconds on the clock. I'm sure there's a way of doing it. I have to pull it up on my phone. Yeah, we have like 30 seconds here. It's been a very chill day. I'm gonna take a bike ride tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the national park, the Everglades National Park, Shark Valley. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope you guys are gonna have fun. I think I might go watch that new Wuthering Heights movie. I'm curious about it just because of all of the free press coverage. I'm curious about what is going on over there. So might be interesting to see on a Valentine's Day weekend though. That's gonna be pretty crazy, All right, we got 10 seconds. We're almost ready for the show. Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the King Leo Show once again. We have an interesting show tonight. We have some great news from the greatest subplots in America right now, ZOHRAN MAMDANI and James Fishback, the Zohran of the South. This is some interesting stuff, and we actually talk about Cuba, which is heating up. Before we do all that, though, I do want to point out, if you know any numerologists among you, it's an important day. It's Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is actually good luck. It's not bad luck if you talk to the numerologist. So go do something lucky today. Go do something lucky. How you doing, Spring? I know. Isn't that crazy? The Kente, it just goes through. And it's not even the same shade as the green screen. But it's a little mysterious. But oh, my tie. How you doing, Spring? It's gonna be I have to say, I was thinking today, because it's Valentine's Day, right? And I was wondering if anyone else had noticed that Valentine's Day doesn't hit like it hit in the 2010s. Back in the 2010s, Valentine's Day was a big deal. It was like something that people really cared about. I remember there was like this whole psyop about Valentine's Day, also cuffing season. I was thinking about that today, and I was like, I think the reason that even happened is probably because of Netflix. I think Netflix is the corporation that created Valentine's Day and cuffing season in the modern era. And I think they did it to, because before COVID, you were a freak if you spent time alone at home watching TV. Now it's normal, And so I realized we have to thank the corporations, Netflix in particular, for that beautiful era of love, because there's no love anymore. There's no love out there. Where is the love? We found love in the hopeless place. Good luck with that. I'm not trying to dissuade you. Go try to find some love, but it's not like in 2010s, there was love everywhere. Everyone was in love all the time. And it had me think, I know we have some older people here in chat sometimes. And I thought of Robert. I was like, I feel like probably how a boomer feels about like the summer of love or the 80s. We're like, damn, I should have hooked up with that girl on that beach in California, or I should have done a lot more cocaine in the 80s or something. That's how I'm starting to feel about the 2010s, in general, like the 2010s culture. And I was in the context of love and all this. I even thought about like twerking, I didn't like twerking. I thought it was low tier, like crass, a bad influence on America. But looking back on it, it wasn't that bad. Twerking was better than nothing, which is what we have now, you know? Now no one twerks. No one's twerking unless you go to the black nightclub, which I love going to the black nightclub. Don't get me wrong. But I remember people were twerking everywhere. You know, I should have enjoyed it more. I should have enjoyed someone twerking on you a lot more in the 2010s. Because now no one's twerking. You know, no one is twerking anymore. There is no Valentine's Day. We live in hell. There's no love anywhere. So, you know, go out there and try to find someone over Valentine's Day weekend. But definitely go play the lottery today. Not financial advice, because it's Friday the 13th. And if you ask the astrologers, that's good news. Let's get through our plugs. How you doing, Audio Vibes? Our usual plugs. We have here the Discord. I haven't been very active today. Oh, I'm not there yet. Let me put myself there. I'm not very active on it today. Sorry, guys. It's been tough. Been kind of busy today. It was a chill day, but I was busy. I was doing a lot of busy work. I may be enrolling in some education. Okay? So, we'll see about that. If you think education will save you. But just for fun. I'll update you once I have more stuff. We have here also the Patreon, which is $5 or $20 a month, which has the King Leo Movie Club. But I'm going to be adding something to this, man. I don't know if people want essays or something. I was never a Substack fan. But I'm getting ideas from Google Gemini as to what I can add for value for you guys. If you join here, you know, it's good. You know, if you join on YouTube, it's good. If you join on Patreon, it's a little bit better. Either way, helps keep the lights on, helps keep the show going. When we hit 1,500 subs, we're going to see some new ties, by the way. So get us to 1,500 and you'll see new ties, because this one is worn out. It's welcome. But it's still going to be the same style. And we have the What Would a Postmodernist Do or What Would Piers Morgan Do parody bracelet available at the coffee link. All these links are in the description. And I see that Ephra's here. How you doing, Ephra? Ephra says, maybe it's a small factor, but consumer spending is becoming a real issue. People are spending up to half of their housing, half in housing alone. Absolutely, Ephra. That's been my theory as to why don't young people go out to party? Dude, I don't like to go out to party anymore. Can you imagine paying $17 for a vodka soda? Whenever they do that to me, I want to blow my head off. You know, it's crazy. Why would you charge me $17 for a vodka soda? I know how much it costs to make this. Charge me $5. It's still a ripoff. It's soda water and vodka. And you can't twerk if you're not drinking a vodka soda, you know. Spring says, is tomorrow the most profitable day for OnlyFans? Possibly. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Let's get into the show. We got to start with Black Person of the Day. And I'm going to Florida again, because we have some great Black people here.
You have to think, young brother, about your future.
Take it from me, someday we'll all be free.
Today's Black Person of the Day, one of my favorite Black people of all time. Seriously, dude, this is one of my favorite Black people. Underrated Black woman. Zora Neale Hurston, the Oracle of Florida. Literally one of our best writers of all time. I love Zora Neale Hurston. I know she's not as well liked by a lot of Black people because she was a conservative in the Booker T. Washington style. But this woman was undeniable in her, let's pull up a picture of her. This woman was undeniable. She made her bones in the, what was it called? The Harlem Renaissance as a writer. But she was a documentary filmmaker. She wrote. Her most famous book is Their Eyes Were Watching God. How you doing, 112? Thank you. And she was a great woman. I really am a fan of Zora Neale Hurston. I think it's a shame she doesn't get her due. She wanted Black people to become part of American society in the Booker T. Washington way. You know, like people who think we have to educate ourselves into it. We can't just demand everything. And of course, you have the counterbalance, the W.E. Du Bois saying, no, we deserve a seat at the table. And you can empathize with both sides. But I just thought we would watch here some of her films, a little bit of it, because this is an under-discussed Black woman. And when a Black woman speaks, I sit my ass down and listen.
Zora Neale Hurston was interested in going south to collect folklore because she was interested in documenting Black lives and thought that Black culture was important and beautiful. Recently, Zora Neale Hurston has gotten a lot of attention because of two books. Barracoon was released, and You Don't Know Us Negroes. Those two books have put Zora Neale Hurston in the public eye, and people have rediscovered her films. Zora Neale Hurston was very interested in capturing the rural Black folk in her writings and in her ethnographic work. Hurston made her second trip to the South in 1927. She was traveling as an employee of Charlotte Osgood Mason, who was a wealthy woman who lived in New York City. Hurston received $200 a month. She took a camera, and Mason gave Hurston money to purchase a car. She captured all sorts of activities of Black people doing different things. So there's children playing games. There is footage of a cookout. There's footage of a baseball game.
All right. We have to get to the show, but I've been meaning to read Barracoon. She interviewed the last slave, like the last guy to be brought in from Africa. I think he was in Alabama. They recently found the wreck. I think it's called the Clotilla of this last slave ship, which was an illegal slave ship. And look, man, whether you like or dislike Black people, I know we probably have some people in chat that, it's like, I'm not a big fan of Black culture. Guys, this is really important ethnographic work this Black woman did. As an anthropologist, dude, and I love Black people personally, this is amazing stuff to look at. I've looked at her films in the past. I've been to where she's from in Florida, and it's not great, honest. It really, we've had our economy kind of hollowed out in these parts of Florida around Lake Okeechobee, which were agricultural. So when you read her, you're reading an experience that kind of got wiped out in the late 90s at latest. And it's just such a beautiful picture in time. So I'm a huge fan of her. As a Floridian, we made Ray Charles, we made Zora Neale Hurston, and I claim her as a Floridian, and I love her, and I love her work. And I think she's a great Black person, all right? So that's why she's our Black person of the day. All right, let's get into it. We got to start with Schizo Watch, man, which we have a lot of Schizo and Goyim Watch today, dude. My Gentiles are going crazy, bro. They're going crazy, bro. All right, let's start with Schizo Watch. All right, let's start here with Secretary Kennedy's new propaganda, which I don't even mind. I like Secretary Kennedy. I'm just not sure Mike Tyson. I understand why, it's probably good. It's like the Got Milk campaign, right? Even though that was kind of stupid. But these videos, look at how they're shot. They're very, very funny, encouraging you to eat real food.
What do you think he's doing? Processed food kills. Remember that.
I bet you this ad cost us at least $1 million. And I can't say I hate it. I like Mike Tyson coming in here, shaming you for eating a donut.
What do you think he's doing? Processed food kills. Remember that.
I actually prefer this to the ICE edits. I prefer it to the ICE edits. It's endearing. I just know it costs a lot of money. And I have to say, I think they should stick with this. I do like it because if you can imagine Mike Tyson slapping the ever-living life out of you as you're going to eat some processed food, this might actually work. I am for free Ozempic mandated, but this is not terrible. It's not terrible. Kennedy is one of the least disappointing figures in the Trump admin. He has his issues, but this kind of stuff, it's definitely schizo because you're imagining Mike Tyson beating the shit out of you for eating a donut. but it's probably a good kind of schizo. I gotta say, congrats. Thank you, President Trump, for this one. This one is good. I like this one. Spring says, our culture owes a lot to blacks, but not everything. The idea that all rock and roll is black inspired is just weak guilt trip. I'm not a fan of the theories that, like, I've never liked that. They try to do it in Latin America, Americans, where they're like, black people invented everything. I'm like, dude, everyone had a part in building all aspects of our culture. It was a collective effort. Why do we assign blame or like victory? Everyone played a part. I do think rock and roll, it's its own thing. You know, obviously it was blues inspired, but I agree with you. It's like rock and roll is, I think, implicitly white in a lot of ways. But you have legends like Hendrix and stuff. But obviously everyone contributed to that. One of the biggest rock icons was a Zoroastrian, you know? A lot of them were British, you know? So we all work together to make cool stuff. And Efra says, I like Raz Kaz, rapper, song Interview with a Vampire. It does go a bit too much into Black Israelite type vibe, but the lyrics are deep. The man was thinking deeply into the future. I want to hear that because I like Exhibit A and Exhibit C. It sucks he never really went anywhere, Jay Electronica. But those are good. I love those. I love the Hotep rap. Let's watch here Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah should be deported. Trevor Noah should be deported. It's not because I don't agree with his takes or anything. It's because Trevor Noah is not funny. Trevor Noah is, and let's watch him here talking. Everything to Trevor Noah is about race politics. I don't understand how someone, your dad is white, dude. Like, your dad is white. You're from South Africa. Your context is a little different. But let's see him here speaking about Africa to an extent. But I think just generalizing here.
An interesting poll that I saw the other day, and I was shocked by this, is people in Africa generally have a more positive attitude towards artificial general intelligence than people in the Western world.
Yeah, because people in Africa had to deal with racism for a long time.
You see you, my man.
And that was man-made intelligence.
You see you, my man.
Try artificial.
Aha. Aha. Ngena lapho.
But I think
Eugene is the other half of my brain. You know when people are like your left brain, right brain, I'm like, Eugene. But it's true. No,
Yes.
but it's exactly what you're saying,
Yes.
right? It's interesting how people who have assumed that the intelligence will be built around them and their histories and their pasts now think that that same technology will go on to do to them what they did to others.
Yeah.
But then the people who were only on like the receiving end in recent history of a thing go like, oh yeah,
any
maybe
change is good change.
they could be like, maybe this will work.
Yeah, because it also puts us in an equal footing. I look at wars the same.
Oh, damn, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because you don't know, I don't know. Let's see what this thing can do for
AI
us.
would be the white people of everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, Vanna.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Vanna.
Fagalana. Because that.
Hey.
You want?
I do. You noticed I was
That's enough. That's enough. No, Trevor Noah, I don't think AI is white. I don't think AI is white. I think AI is just AI. Now, do Africans feel more positively towards AI than people in the West? Yeah, probably. Latinos love AI, you know, but what are we doing here, Trevor Noah? I want to know what you are instilling, because Trevor Noah has an American fan base as well as South African, but after the Daily Show, it's, why are you racializing AI? So is Chinese AI Chinese? I understand that there's like Sharia AI in Saudi Arabia and all that. But if we are bringing this stuff into AI, like all the race stuff, I really am at a loss, Mr. Noah. I don't understand. I don't want to get too technical here, but dude, like AI, the reason South Africa, where he's from, because I've researched this, is in the state it's in, is because South Africa is run by incompetent people. I'm not saying that apartheid was good. Nelson Mandela was actually a pretty good president for my reading. Everyone who came after was a thief. South Africa has a nuclear program because they have nuclear reactors in order to power the country. And the government of South Africa did not maintain them. And that's run by the ANC. Look, man, I understand. I have my Open Veins of Latin America arc. You know, obviously Europe has exploited Africa and America has exploited Latin America. But the truth is, some of it is incompetence that's on our own. You know, it's our own fault. So this bringing a racialism into AI, I don't think that this is how you want it to go either. Because then what are we going to have? The white AI, the black AI? I had never heard this take. I really hadn't. That AI was going to be for blacks and whites and Latinos. And I would just want the AI to have the sum of all human knowledge. Why are you putting this out there? Why are you saying, is this like some sort of fetish or something where it's, oh, the AI is going to save black people? AI is going to help everyone. Like, what's the big deal? Okay, maybe the West has a more negative attitude. Maybe there's other factors beyond race that play into that. AI will be the white people of everyone. And you know, my producer, who is from the Horn of Africa, he's told me this, where what's going to happen with AI is interesting, where the global South is going to get access to the God machine. This is obviously going to happen. And it's going to make immigration a lot easier, actually, because people are not going to have to pay for lawyers and all that. I've been using AI, dude, for all sorts of like legal documentation and all this. I've been trying. I'm a couple months away, hopefully, for my Spanish passport. I used AI in that process and it worked. So that's the argument he makes, is AI, I guess it's going to be the white. I see what Effort's saying. Like, it's going to be everyone's white person, because it's kind of a lawyer, a guide, everything. So we should expect to see a lot more legal immigration with the rise of AI, as well as like legal residencies for Westerners in the global South. But I find this distasteful, Mr. Noah. I didn't know he could get any worse than The Daily Show. I thought after getting kicked off of The Daily Show and having to resurrect Jon Stewart from formaldehyde, this guy was done. He's not funny. I'm not laughing. The AI is the white people. I'm not laughing at it. Okay, I'm not finding it very funny. I don't think AI is going to be a better colonial master than this already happened. Like, what are we talking about, dude? I don't think anyone, even in Venezuela, man, no one's like, AI is going to be a better colonial master than Spain or the United States. Everyone else is just like, let's work on this. You know, let's use the AI. And meanwhile, Trevor Noah's out here making people scared of AI because white people should fear it, because it's going to white people the white people. It's going to colonize them. I don't get it. How are you doing, Doom? Wow, we have a lot of chats. All right, we got to keep going. I wanted to show this video here. I'm very pleased with this news with the Trump administration. They have stopped the auto start stop in cars. It is done. It's over. This was stupid. It was very, very stupid. I never liked it. This is Obama's fault. No one likes it. If you remove it from your car, you void your warranty. Your warranty's crap. Anyway, how you doing, Robert? I think AI will make people dumb. We'll see. I think it's up to the user, Robert, honest. Like, you can use it in dumb ways or smart ways, you know? But maybe you're right in terms of like the net effect. But this start stop feature was so stupid, man. I hated this from the beginning. My car is from 2015. And it's because I don't want to get a new car, because I don't want to deal with the start stop button. I've been wanting to get rid of that car because it's a manual, because I was an idiot when I was a fucking teenager or whatever. But I don't want these cars that have the start stop. It's start stop is literally worse than famine. Start stop is the worst thing to happen to humanity since the Vietnam War. Start stop is evil. I hate this. And Trump, hats off. I'm glad you're getting rid of this. it was adding to our hell. But he's promoting it like this, and I don't really understand the messaging here. Why are these two fat liberal blue-haireds being put down here? We were all, what I don't understand about it is we were all in this hell. You know, like the white lady here drinking her Coca-Cola, and they're here. We were all in this hell together. No one enjoyed start-stop. I don't see why you have to make it a divisive issue like we're owning the libs for removing the start-stop thing. I think liberals hated it. If you're in a Prius, I knew someone with a Prius that gets 50 miles per gallon. It's not I don't like hybrids, but it's not a stupid decision. I know it's an ugly car, but whatever. It's a Toyota. Why are they framing it in this way that it's like, oh, this is cool because we're owning the liberals? I've never met a liberal in my life. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat, sir. Happy Friday to you, sir. Robert says, humans need struggle to get better. If there are no challenges, we are doomed. That's true. We do need struggle. That is one of the big... there was this article that came out called Full Boomer Luxury Communism this week, and it was an interesting read. I recommend it because it was an interesting... It was showing how a lot of the entitlements and stuff are bankrupting, and people are living great lives that are, retirement age or got to get in the market around 2008 at the expense of everyone else. And you read through the lifestyles, and I see this in Florida, people like in the villages, they go on cruises, they come back. And I'm like, dude, don't you want a little struggle in your life? Even near the end, I understand we're in retirement, we should have some sort of artificial struggle at the very least. We will rebel against nothing. I absolutely agree, Robert. We need challenges in our lives. Although I do think the start-stop switch is not a challenge. I don't want to deal with that challenge. That challenge in particular was really annoying. How you doing, Zat? How you doing? Who else is here? It's a couple of you people. Zat says their votes made it happen. Zat, but come, dude, I don't even blame the Obama voter. I don't think anyone wanted cash for clunkers or these emission standards. These emission standards were ridiculous. No one really liked this. I think people liked electric cars, but I don't think anyone was begging for start-stop switches, the cars to become shittier. They just didn't want, cars getting 19 miles per gallon. And to be honest, I don't want that either. I want a car that gets 32 miles per gallon highway and doesn't have a start-stop switch, So I just see this as a victory for America, and I don't see what the point is of fighting, fighting each other here on this glorious occasion. This should be a ticker tape parade that we're done with start-stop. We should be happy. So maybe if you guys feel like you could blame it, but dude, come on, who liked cash for clunkers? Did liberals even like it? Maybe it's my lack of experience with liberalism. I haven't met a liberal that says, oh, Clash for Clunkers is good, or it was a good program. It was a shitty program. These were all really shitty. So I'm glad it's gone. I just don't see why it has to be marketed this way. Because I guess these people voted for Obama, but they just wanted the war to end and Guantanamo to be closed. Did anyone really ask for anything beyond innovation in the car field? Electric cars, hydrogen cell. Not going to get autistic about cars. How you doing, D4? See you there. Thank you again, Robert, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. I wanted to show you here this. This is real schizo hours. Let's watch what the Daily Wire, which is America's greatest news publication after the Free Press, they are doing real journalistic, just like Tucker Carlson, they're doing real journalistic deep dives here. Let's look at what Michael Knowles, there's a war in Iran, there's a war in Venezuela, a war in Cuba. What is worth talking about to the conservative audience? Let's see what it is and why we need to hear about it right now.
The giant was solid as a rock. The pilot said that while he was standing there talking to these soldiers, he was hitting the top of the tarp with his hand. Of course, he's in a state of like shock,
Yeah.
trying to process this gigantic humanoid under this tarp. And he said the guy was like a brick. He was like pure muscle. He said he didn't know if it was rigor mortis that had set in after death, but he said it was, the guy was, you could see his hands and his feet. He was very muscular, very large and muscular. And he said that the giant's feet which were wrapped in very crude footwear, like a canvas type thing. The giant's feet and hands had 6 digits instead of 5.
Okay.
So it's 6 fingers and 6 toes on each hand and foot. The giant's skin was a pale white. Again, he wasn't sure if it was because the giant had been dead for a couple of days or if that was the natural tone of the skin. But what really stood out to him was the red hair. The giant had red or auburn hair.
Huh.
And again, there was a very pungent odor coming off of this thing. And
we live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Why? Who put out the memo about the giants? This country is becoming retarded. This country, dude, are we in medieval England or something? Did conservatives read a little too much Lord of the Rings? What are we doing here? I don't want to debate whether giants are real and if the fairies are here. What are we doing? We are regressing. We are a dragon lives in the Rocky Mountains comes next. What are we doing? This is a full episode with a rogue archaeologist talking about the giants that the special forces fought in Afghanistan. I gotta tell you, I don't believe this. I don't believe it. Maybe it's bad that I'm doubting our veterans. I don't think they saw a giant. I don't think they were fighting with a giant. We are getting to a very stupid point in this country's history. People believing in giants and dragons and fairies and trolls. If this is not a warning sign that things are going in a idiocracy direction, I don't know what it is. I'm not against urban myths. There's plenty of people who believe in Bigfoot here in Florida, okay? I don't believe in Bigfoot. I met a guy who actually, my buddy worked at Fairchild Garden, which is a huge garden here, and this boomer came in once. He was like, "You seen Bigfoot lately?" And he was like, "No." And he was like, "Dude, back in the 80s, I used to get really high on coke. I used to dress up as Bigfoot. I used to run around the entrance of the garden. And one time, this guy stopped in his pickup truck and he shot at me, so I never did it again." And I was... That, I assume, is true. All right, I don't think that Bigfoot is real. I don't think Bigfoot is real. But that's an endearing regional thing, you know, like the Jersey Devil or something. This, we're getting too stupid for everyone. We cannot believe in the giants of Afghanistan. This country, it's like the IQ is just dropping off the cliff. It's the Loch Ness Monster, the giants, War of the Worlds. Orson Welles would love this. I mean, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is actually good. Maybe this is good. Maybe this is good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if we start believing in giant, maybe we should get a little bit more mystical. Maybe we should have some Sufism in the United States. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe introducing 6-year-old people to the idea of giants is a good idea. Maybe telling them that the giant's bones are in the Smithsonian is a good idea. Can you tell them they're at Harvard so they can go tear it down? Harvard is hiding the giant bones. Please Go break Harvard into a million pieces. Maybe, you know what? I believe in giants. Giants are real. They're hiding them at Harvard. Go get them. Go ask Larry Summers where the giants are. You will have to break through brick and mortar to get it. Thank you very much, Daily Wire. I believe in giants now. Great stuff. Let's continue. How are you doing, Pajarito Lindo? Here we have Donald Trump today. This was a real deep cut. Does anyone remember Stacey Abrams? I remember Stacey Abrams because I was always suspicious of her and Andrew Gillum. She was running for governor of Georgia, and everyone said she was amazing because she was a black fat lady. Nothing against black fat woman or anything, but that was the way they were marketing her. They were like, oh, this lady's amazing because she's fat. I didn't like Stacey Abrams. I never liked her. I always found her annoying. And then I found out that she was a CFR member. So she was playing this like woman of the people thing. And I was like, dude, you're on the CFR. You're on the Council of Foreign Relations. You are full of shit. By the way, they removed Tulsi Gabbard's name from the CFR list in like 2016. Just a little red pill there, okay? And Trump still remembers her. I was like, wow, Trump has a good memory. And here he is talking about the Abrams tank. I hate everything says it was Bigfoot. They were fighting Bigfoot in Afghanistan. Yes, Bigfoot was the enemy in Afghanistan. Here is President Trump talking about the Abrams tank.
To give you all of the equipment you need, we're also purchasing 30 new and modified Abrams tanks. Still the best tank, right? Still? It was named in honor of Stacey Abrams. Only a few very political people would understand that. Congratulations. Thank you very much for a great name, Stacey.
It is funny. But during Black History Month, Mr. President, during Black History Month, you have to look at what they're doing with the AI, man. Like, it's just crazy. I'm surprised that Trump remembers. Stacey Abrams, the Transformer. I have to say, while I think that this is, I don't know, this is probably not good to say. But in the age of Ozempic, I think we should do this. This is a good idea. Start telling people, hey, get on that Ozempic. Don't get diabetes. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. But the Abrams tank, can we have the Christie tank too? You know, the Christie. That should replace the Abrams tank now. We're naming tanks after fat people. The Taft, the Ralphie May tank. This is great stuff. I'm just surprised at how Trump, and this is in Georgia, so I think he remembers it because of he lost the election with Georgia. I know some people don't think he lost the election. That's fine. We accept everything here, but you know, I'm sure he has a bone to pick with Georgia. But I have to say, despite it being childish and maybe a little impish or whatever, I do think that Stacey Abrams deserves this. I think Andrew Gillum deserves what he got. All of these people were huge grifter scammers that came out of, I hate the term, the woke era, and they were all embarrassing for America. So I'm glad someone's still keeping score. Let's continue. We have here, this one's pretty great, man. Let's watch first. This is Sexy Red remixing the Beat It Beat by Michael Jackson. I never thought I would live to see Michael Jackson's, one of his best songs, be used to promote cunnilingus. Just eat it. And what I really like is that there's a lot of woke black people these days, man. Not to say there weren't before, and I don't mean woke like in that, I mean like awake. Like they see through it. And here we have the quote tweet, which I loved, which is, please tell the CIA we give up. Now, I'm not sure if the CIA is still involved with rap music. They obviously were in the 90s. But I love to see that it's time. It's time to call this out. I don't care what weapon it is. You don't get to You can't do that, as President Trump would say. You don't get to make Michael Jackson's classic Beat It about eating it. You don't get to do that. It's not allowed. I don't know if it was the CIA, but I like how black people are aware of subversion and they can see through their own celebrities, which a lot of people really can't. And I'm seeing this rise in the black sphere where because the Hoteps have been saying this forever, but now it seems like more normal black people are saying something is amiss here. It's Black History Month and you're dropping Eat It. This is bad for our culture. And it's about damn time. I'm very glad to see. I could not survive the Cardi B era, an embarrassment to Latinos everywhere. Embarrassing. I did not like Cardi B for 1 second. Cardi B set Latinos back like 30 years. The reason that ICE is deporting people right now is because of Cardi B. Because Cardi B ruined our image. She ruined it. It was the most disgusting lyrics in a long time. It made us look really, really bad. And so I'm glad that I hope that eventually Latinos can start doing this too. Please stop putting this out. It's making our community schizophrenic. Everything says, I feel like I got put through a firing squad just by hearing this. I won't believe it until people like Al Sharpton and Race Hustlers out. This is a good start, though. How old is Al Sharpton, man? How is he still kicking? Not to say I wish him a long life and everything, but Al Sharpton, I really thought he had burned his whole image after, what was her name? The girl he lied about in New York. These guys have got to go too, man. Latinos, we've kind of cleaned house with these people. We had a couple of them and they're gone. But it's about time that people go, hey, we've had enough. This is enough of this music. It's bad for us. All right, let's continue. I wanted to show you this, man. And I had to show you this. I think we're going to end Schizo Watch here because just for time. No, we'll show one last thing, actually. Jon Stewart here, man. If you didn't know Jon Stewart, look, Jon Stewart was very funny. But he wasn't very smart. He was a guy who thought he was a lot smarter than what he actually is. And we're starting to see the cracks of this now. This week, it was circulated, the clip of him when he debated Bill O'Reilly back in the day, where he was probably wearing lifts because Jon Stewart's like 5'5". And Jon Stewart said that Bill Clinton eliminated the national debt, that he like crossed it out because he had a budget surplus. And Jon Stewart's not 17, he's in his 40s at the time. And I want to show you the latest Jon Stewart hit because this is really something, man. This is really something.
Act. Why can't they jump in then and start to alleviate some of these supply chain issues and start to alleviate some of these manufacturing lags and force these companies into something? Because, and maybe this is paranoia, but it does strike me that as soon as workers start to demand higher wages, and as soon as the government stimulates on the demand side rather than the corporate side, suddenly the economy decides, we're going to go into crisis mode and hyperinflate everything. Like, it does feel very suspicious. And if I'm being paranoid, please tell me so.
No. Paul Krugman, if you can hear me, please save us. Paul Krugman, if you can hear me, please save us. Tom Friedman, if you can hear me, please save us. No, Jon Stewart, I don't think you should tell the audience that the economy as a sentient being is conspiring against you. I don't think the economy has its boot on your neck. I don't think inflation is the economy going, these people are getting raises. Let me inflate myself. I don't think that's true. This is a grown-ass man, dude. There was greedflation, that's for sure. And that is partially the consumer's fault because Americans will pay $5 for a cup of coffee. They will never use their money as a weapon. And Jon Stewart, this is not healthy. Directing the anger of people, this is obviously an op, dude. Like, this has to be an op. You're telling people to be angry at the economy, TM. I don't know where this economy is. Where is it? Where can we go get it to make it stop? Because there's inflation. Inflation is from the IRA, from the stimulus packages, from shutting down the economy for 3 years. I didn't know we could get this low IQ. I didn't know we could get this low IQ. I'm really surprised to hear it out of Jon Stewart's mouth because this shows that he has not learned anything since his debate with Bill O'Reilly. I get it. Economics is the dismal science, not fun to study. I don't like looking at economics. I've read economics books because I'm autistic or whatever, but I get it. It's boring. But this idea, we are getting to, this is third world behavior. This is third world behavior. Having someone go on the TV, I can picture this in a Venezuelan accent. You see, the economy is conspiring against the people, and we will fight this economy. What are you doing? There are very clear people who caused this, Jon Stewart. Why don't you point to them? Why? Because they probably fund you. I get it. Okay. Thank you, Jon Stewart. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's the economy as a supreme being is making decisions for us. I get it. That's why inflation happens, because the economy is mean to us. Okay, I get it. I have everything says Stephen A. Smith confirmed. Oh my God, dude. I think he's going to run. I think he's going to run. And to end here, I wanted to show you here, Rudy Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani was a serious person at one point. Rudy Giuliani was an important, sophisticated guy. Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York during 9/11. Okay? He ran for president. He was America's mayor. He was a smart guy. He took down the mafia. Rudy Giuliani, this is what he posted on Twitter. Let me make this. Of course, the siren. New. The Daily Mail tracked down alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson's former roommate Lance Twiggs. Twiggs, 22, is reportedly living with family in Texas. He was spotted with his long, unkempt hair, a Taco Bell t-shirt, and a hardcover fantasy novel in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Photos from the Daily Mail show. And here we have the pictures of Tyler Robinson's ex. I don't know if this is his boyfriend, right? I can't really tell. Rudy Giuliani has gone from being America's mayor to the Daily Mail aggregator, to the Daily Mail, to Drudge Report. Rudy Giuliani is making sure that you're informed on the comings and goings of Tyler Robinson's transsexual ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I literally don't know because I'm not following this case till we get a verdict. Why are you doing this? You were a lawyer at one time. You were a serious lawyer. You know that, Rudy Giuliani. And now this America's mayor is posting pictures that the Daily Mail is taking of Tyler Robinson's ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. What a fall from grace. What a fall from grace. Pathetic. Let's get into the Goyim have gone insane because my Gentiles have gone crazy. Where's our credit card?
The people are retarded.
We have to start here with Sean Ryan. I hate everything says. I remember seeing a clip of Thomas Sowell calling the economy its only entity. Thomas Sowell, man. Thomas Sowell. I'm not a fan. He is not going to be on Black History Month just because I don't like his fans more than anything. It's okay if you like him and everything. I just hate Dave Rubin being like, "Wait, this funny history of America." He wrote some books that were like explaining things. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Let's get into it. Let's start here with my favorite CIA agent. My favorite drug trafficker, Sean Ryan. Let's hear Sean Ryan. He sounds like he's gonna cry in this video here. Okay?
It is worse than we were all expecting, but I'll tell you one thing that it has proved. Watching the administration dodge it and try to hurry it up and move along. I just saw today they don't think the American people should be talking about this anymore.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else, really. Now that nothing came out about me.
Well, I got news for you. The American people are the ones that voted you in. We're the ones that voted you in, and we told you what we wanted before your ass got in there. And you're not doing it. None of these people that we elected. It's pathetic. And so what it shows is a two-tiered justice system, just like we all suspected and we've been talking about for years. The two-tier justice system. Why would you not investigate every single son of a bitch that went to that island? Doesn't mean they're all guilty. Doesn't mean that at all. But it at least calls for some type of investigation, not just sweeping the shit under the rug like they always do, and they always have done. They bat this shit around. They get people all fired up, and then there's no justice.
This is a demoralization operation. Quite clearly, in my mind, Sean Ryan, he just said that they have always done this and they've always swept it under the rug. Sean Ryan, are you telling me that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were, I don't know, visiting Epstein Island in the 18th century? Excuse me. Why are you saying this? They have always done this, and they always get away with it. You are trying to demoralize Americans here. This negativity is literally crazy. This is, no, I don't think this has always happened. Maybe I'm naive. I don't think that FDR was on Epstein Island and with Marina Abramovich and eating the children, whatever they think now, eating the children, or this has not always happened. There's been cases like Dennis Hastert and Larry King, of course. Why would you say this to the American people? Why? This is not to add on top. You fell for it. This is you that fell for it. You are a CIA man who fell for it. You voted for Trump. You did that to yourself. Why are you putting your little pity party on everyone else? You are literally a narco-trafficking former CIA agent. This negativity, we need some joy. Don't make me pull up the Robert Wright clip. You know which one I'm talking about. This, it can't be this bleak. There is so much more to hope for. Let's finish this because he, of course, he throws in his interview with Ro Khanna.
I'll tell you what, though. There sure as hell would be if it would have been me and you. But nope. The political elites answer to no one. No one. That's how it goes. That's how it's been for a long, long time. Unbelievable. You know, I don't even see right or left, Republican, Democrat, black, white. I don't see any of that shit anymore. I see good and I see a whole lot of evil. And those are the two categories that we need to be concerned about.
They are legitimately, proactively protecting. They are protecting by redacting the abuser's name. The White House, listen up everybody, the White House is protecting
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
Dude, my Gentiles, my fellow goys, you can't be watching this stuff. This is clearly a demoralization operation. Is he speaking from experience from his time with the CIA in Afghanistan? When they were promoting Bakabazi and little boys to the mullahs? Is that what he's speaking about? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're literally in the CIA. You were in the CIA. You were a drug trafficker. He was a drug trafficker. You got away with it. You got away. There is no way anything this man says does not have another motive. And this performative crying, with edits in between. Fuck you. Go eat a bag of shit, you fucking piece of shit. You are lying to people in order to make them crazy. How naive. I believe in good and evil. You worked for the CIA. You worked for the CIA. Oh, what? You grew a conscience at 50? You were selected for the CIA because you have sociopathic tendencies. That's why they select people. Because of that. You are a sociopath. That's why you could deal drugs in Latin America and don't want to talk about it. You are a sociopath, and your goal is to make everyone demoralized. That is your goal. I don't preach demoralization. I preach apathy. There's a very big difference. I had everything says the irony of a CIA agent saying, dude, it's not lost on me. A CIA head is doing this. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Thank you for your service, Mr. Sean Ryan. Effer says, I think that the order must be restored by restoring trust, and I honestly think the French will start to propagate accountability that will eventually come back to the U.S. Interesting. How do you see that happening with Macron? Don't tell me it was Zemmour. I don't trust Zemmour for a second. I don't trust him for a second. I wanted to show this, but I'm curious to hear about that effort. Please explain. We Hispanics, man, me and my fellow Hispanic goyim, we have been attacked. We have been censored. We have been deported. Legal or illegal, I'm just talking about my ethnic group. We have been having a tough time here in the United States, at least recently. One silver lining is Marco Rubio has made us look very good. We had a whole list of attacks because of Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny is Bad Bunny is bad according to a lot of people. Now we are starting to have Americans making conspiracy theories about us that I would like to be informed by my parents if this is true. Let's listen to this woman's theory on Hispanics, okay?
So, I figured it out. So, I'm sitting here because I'm just like, he's saying that they are replacing them, and it's the fair-skinned Hispanic people. What I told you. They have European, have Hispanic, aka they got the melanin, aka they got the genetic coding within their DNA from the melanated angelic race of beings, and they have been also mixed and been spliced their bloodlines there with when I think was it the Spaniards or the Europeans came and they started mating with them and mixing DNA and shit like that. That is them. Remember in my prior videos, I told you that these people was trying to create a super race that would allow them to interdimensional travel, aka to go to the higher realms, because genetically they did not have the ability to do so. Well, that race is the white Hispanic man and woman. Think about it. They are hybrids of what? The melanated race of beings and with the European, the Spanish, the Spaniards, them people together. Those are the beings, hold on. Those are the immigrants, aka the race of beings that Tucker Carlson mentioned that is replacing them. He said it's happening in Canada, it's happening in the United States, it's happening in Great Britain, it's happening all over. The immigrants are replacing them. Who are the immigrants? The white passing Hispanics. What are they mixed with? Melanin, aka and what? And what? And what?
I was not aware that I could time travel because I'm Hispanic. I was not aware of that. I promise you, I haven't done it. The TikTok plebeian is telling me that I am great replacing the white people with my intergalactic travel. I don't understand what is going on with Hispanics now. Why do they keep... Guys, I'm not lying. I know this is the bad thing is if I could interdimensional travel and was trying to replace the white people because I'm Hispanic, then I wouldn't tell you. But I'm going to promise you that if I could do intergalactic dimensional travel because I'm Hispanic, I would tell you. But I don't want people to start going around thinking that the Hispanics can do time travel and intergalactic travel. If we could time travel, I think we would change some things. We'd go back in time and, I don't know, like stop some coups and fix our... Where does this even come from? I'm not... And I know you're like, oh, this is just some crazy lady on TikTok. Buddy, this is how it starts. I don't want to get killed for my time traveling ability. I don't want that to happen. I don't want ICE to be like, we need to arrest the Hispanics because they can travel through time and they're going back in time to change the American Revolution and make it Hispanic. And I don't think that what is going on in this country, dude. There's no way that people believe this. I don't think, dude, I promise you, if I could time travel, I would tell you. I would tell you. This is how it starts. This is how it starts. I don't want to be... We have gone from like, oh, it's another race of people, another ethnicity, to, you know, like the obsession with illegal immigration, whether you agree or disagree, to now we are time traveling beings replacing the white people of Europe, Canada, and America with our interdimensional travel because our Spanish forefathers mated with our native forefathers and our African forefathers. And now we can travel through time. Listen, you may think it's silly. This shit is going somewhere, man. All of this stuff that starts on TikTok, you'll see pretty soon. I went to get my brake pads changed, and Juan over here, he went back in time because there's no way he could have done it that fast. I was eating strawberries, and I was thinking about the people picking them, and I was like, there's no way they can pick them that fast. And I don't want to live in a world where people think that I'm time traveling. So... And everything says, well, Leo, you're the superior. I get, we're the new superior race, as this lady says. I don't want the moniker. I don't want, please, just, can we fix cars and pick fruits? Can we just do that? Can we just pick the fruits and fix the cars? Why is it going in this direction? Every other day, it's the Hispanics this, the Hispanics that. And now we're getting... This is... How you doing, Dane? Dane says he believes it because he knows a Puerto Rican in a panic. Dane, I don't think that they're traveling through time, Dane. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Robert says, oh, I wonder how much white blood African Americans have. Just saying. Yeah, I think it's higher. I looked into that a while ago than people in Africa. Just because, naturally they're in an environment. Like in Latin America, in Venezuela, 1% of the population identifies as black because everyone else is like mixed and stuff. So I don't know about the American percentage. That's an interesting question, Rob. I wanted to show you this. Speaking of race, let's look at Slovakia's appearance at this is the EU Parliament. Yeah. Let's see where the EU is at.
We are constantly hearing from you in this room how on Black Lives Matter, how Jewish lives matter, how Palestinian lives matter, and I completely agree with you. I don't have any problem when you are saying that. But I will say something what many of you will have a problem with. And I will say it loudly and openly. White lives matter. Because right now, white people are just a tiny minority in this world, and white people are the most hated group in the whole world. Everything is allowed against white people. You can openly spread hatred and racism against white people. You can openly call for a violence against white people, and nobody will ban you from social networks. Nobody will prosecute you or put you in jail for that. Nobody will prosecute you and trying to destroy your life because doing something like that. And that's why I consider it very important to repeat that for you as a white man, as a Christian father of the family. White lives matter.
Yes, of course. I care about white people and their lives. You're Slovakian. What I'm a little thrown off here by is the American race politics is making it into the EU Parliament. I think Slovakian lives matter for sure. White lives matter if you want to put it that way. But anytime you go to Europe, you'll notice that they may look alike. They don't like each other. They don't like each other, man. Call a Portuguese guy Spanish and see how that goes for you. I'll probably go fine. The Iberian Peninsula is just pussy now, unfortunately. But I like the Portuguese. Why is this rhetoric spreading to you? Because more important, I get it. Like, you're right. And maybe like there's some stuff that needs to be done in regards to some issues. However, aren't you, and I'm not saying this isn't the most pressing issue for the EU Parliament, the war with Russia right now? Because a lot of white people are dying in that war, you know? I think more on the Ukrainian side because the Russians have brought in like Koreans and stuff like that. But I'm just a little. I see D4 says Europeans are about to become minorities in their country. That's why he's mad. But D4, I would just disagree based on the stats because Europe is still majority white. Like it's like 70 to 80% in most countries, you know? I think this is in reaction to the Spanish legalization or normalization of a bunch of immigrants. Mostly from Latin America, but some Africans as well. But I'm just, I'm a little dismayed here as to, not dismayed, I'm a little confused as to how this type of politics made it into the EU. Because this was an American thing. Because in America, people are a little bit more, you know, they obviously, like, people are not in touch with their roots. But you're Slovakian, you speak Slovakian, and I've never been to Slovakia. I'd probably like to go there. I'd like to go there, like that movie Hostel. Classic, certified hood classic Hostel. That's a great one, Eli Roth. But I'm a little astounded at this rhetoric spreading over to Europe because Europe wasn't ever really like this, you know? Jay Boss says the Spanish news was exaggerated. They gave a 1-year work visa. That was all. No one was made a citizen. Yeah, Jay Boss, but I will say, because I'm going through the process, with Latin America, it's different. Latin America, we're getting citizenship. Oh, yeah, bro, we're getting the Spanish citizenship. Time for me to get my reparations. No, absolutely not. Spain is too poor. They lost all their gold, you know. But this kind of rhetoric is a little odd. I did not expect to see this in Europe, you know? Did not expect to see this in Europe, but I guess it might spread. I saw another guy, I think he was Scottish, who was spreading, who was starting an NGO to fight for remigration. I just don't see how this helps you win. This just strikes me as divisive. In terms of for Europeans, I don't think Europeans really see themselves this way. Dude, look, go to Italy and see how the Northerners treat the Southerners. So I'm just a little confused as to how this rhetoric got to Europe and whether it's going to remain in Europe. I think you should be aware of it because it starts here, but it goes everywhere else. All right, everything says how Spain is following. How you doing, Mr. Elu? Yeah, I don't really get it. That's Spain, dude. Spain. We gotta help our Spanish brothers, man. We gotta help our Spanish brothers. I think this is a good one too, especially for Black History Month, dude. I was very perplexed by this here. Let's watch this clip.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word, but we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white male called the black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word. But this is a little bit different. White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore. The white man who used the N-word in this situation was being historically precise.
Okay. This is where liberalism is now. No, guys. No, I don't think so. I'm not black, but I have to disagree. I don't think that it's a good idea in the sensitive country, you know, the United States, to start normalizing the use of slurs against people if they're historically accurate. I don't want to be called a wetback when I get out of a pool, you know? I'm not saying that I take offense. I'm not sure this is conducive to good race relations. I don't think that I don't think the problem with slurs is that they don't aim for historical authenticity. I don't think that was the problem. I think it was that they were, you know, a little offensive and people did not take too kindly to them. This is a little much for me, man. I know you have all those books behind you, bro, and I'm not black, but I think we have to be a little careful here. I don't think this is a I don't think we should be bringing back historically accurate racial terms. I think that we're past that. I think we can move past that. I think we could say he has the slave mind if we really want to go there. Where's our clip?
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
You know, I use that a lot as someone who likes Nietzsche to an extent and likes, I don't want to be called the wetback when I get out of the pool. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that was the problem. Everything says, I would want my reparations for the Giga Chad Spanish Empire, not this soy space. Absolutely, man. We're going to get our reparations in euros. I want that in gold. And you know, bro gets mad when Nick went. Right. I don't think that we should start moving goalposts here. I'm not saying people shouldn't use the N-word or should use the N-word. I'm just saying that slurs are really something. And Mr. Elu says, I'll call you that when you justify the overthrow of Maduro. Look, man, you can call me, I'm a heel. You can call me spick, wetback, whatever you want, coon, whatever you want. I don't really care, you know? I don't think it's a good idea to use this word in any context at this point. I don't think it'd be. I don't think that liberalism. You're losing the plot here. You're losing the plot. We gotta end Schizo Watch. Sorry, Goyim Magan saying, let's look at this here, okay? Let's watch what the UK is putting out in terms of their protest against the remigration movement.
I'm a motherfucking immigrant. You heard what I have done? I got A's in 2 exams. I had my parents sitting stressed. Cause I got A stars in every other fucking test. The university was universally again. Moving through these traumas, but still stay unusually refrain. Reform will tell you I'm the one who's holding your life back. 19 years old, interning in London, Goldman Sachs. My political views aren't informed by what I owe in tax. We built this country too, so why the fuck will we go back? Doctors, nurses, billions in tax. Invited to hell, left everything we had. Why the fuck should we?
I think this guy should be deported. Keir Starmer, someone get Keir Starmer on the line. Keir Starmer, can you deport this guy right here, Keir Starmer? This guy right here, can you deport him for this shitty music? And this is a wider criticism I have here, man. I'm really tired. We cannot justify ourselves as immigrants with tax and straight A's, and we can't. We can't. This is silly. This makes it very silly. This is, you are now doing an Excel spreadsheet and you are saying we pay this much money in, so we should stay in the. I don't think that that's how you justify immigration. I've always thought it was a bad argument. I've always thought it was condescending. And now making rap beats about it is really pathetic. It's really pathetic, man. Listen, there's a lot of ways of justifying immigration that are better. Because this is a very, you want to play by the spreadsheet? Dude, that is the white man's domain, okay? They know how to spreadsheet. They invented it. We want to play around with taxes? They know how to do it. That was Windows. That was them. I don't want to play on the spreadsheet plane, okay? I also don't want to play on the, we make food or whatever. There are better reasons to justify immigration if you want to. But this level of, and I'll say it, this level of coonery is really something. The message here is wrong. I'm not saying people should or shouldn't be deported. This is the worst justification for immigration I've ever heard. We do this, we do that. Okay, well, we have AI now, so how about that? How about that? My in regards to particularly Mexican Americans, I didn't really hear a great argument until I spoke with my mother a few years ago, where she said, because she's from Venezuela, as I've said, she was like, listen, man, I'm not saying my mother's against illegal immigration. She was like, look, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be deported or anything, but if you're in a country that has a border, you have to accept the border will always be porous. We accepted it with Colombia and Venezuela. It didn't work out that well for us, but worked out okay for them. And so that's a better argument for at least Mexican American immigration than whatever the fuck this is, this rap beat. Why the fuck should we go back? Do you want them to tell you the reasons? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer for. Rule number 1 of sales, hypnosis, anything. Why would you want them to say anything like that? Why would you open yourself up to? This is setting immigrants back like 50 years. This is worse than Hamilton. Hamilton was already insulting enough. I hate this justification. Immigration can be justified in other more clever ways than whatever this is. This is gross, and you should be deported because of this. This is bad stuff. This is bad stuff. I don't like it, and I hope that they deport you first. All right. That's the end of the Goyim God saying. Before we get to our main stories, though, we have some Jeff watch, man. Let's watch some Jeff stuff. Let's play us in here. We have some good Jeff AI.
Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
Molly my bean, Molly my bean, Molly my bean, Molly my bean.
All right. Let's watch how Jeffrey Epstein remains alive. Let's watch in this era of Ro Khanna.
What's up, guys? I mean, goys. Weather is great in Tel Aviv, You like those files? Crazy stuff, right? That's just the tip of the iceberg, or should I say ice steam.
Now, I'm showing you this because
Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
there is something here that's worth noting where you could call it anti-Semitic, and I'm sure some of it is or whatever, where people say, you know, that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, he's protected, he's in Tel Aviv. I've heard this from like the day he died, you know? But there's something deeper here, something a lot deeper, which is I think if Tupac had died today, people would still say he was alive, and this kind of AI stuff, which will get better over time, would show him in Cuba. It'd be like, what's up, everyone? I'm out here in Cuba. I'm learning how to play the bongos. So now we are summoning AI for something a little more than just, you know, fun. Like now this is being used in ways to not only necromance in the Kirkverse, but in the real world. We're using it to say, hey, these people are still alive. It feeds into the conspiracy theories. I'm not surprised if we see in the future that they're going to start making AI like hologram planes hitting the Twin Towers. And as time passes, I'm sure that this will actually confuse the historical record. So call it anti-Semitic or whatever you want, but this is an important use of AI. We have to see how this is now transcending past the Kirkverse into our universe as well. Let's continue. This one's pretty good. This one's just funny, man. This is pretty good. Next one's pretty good too.
Hey, that looks like Epstein. You went to the island.
Why? Why do you like Epstein? Why did you go to his island? Why do you love him? I said enough!
What do you mean he raped?
Epstein Island is a place of gooning and despair, ruled by Jeffrey Epstein, who smells of baby oil.
Do you know where my dad is?
Hey, little fella, say hello to my new girlfriend. She's gonna be here Friday to pick you up. She's my bitch.
What? What's wrong with her?
She wouldn't stop shaking the bag.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr. Epstein. Are you ready to go?
I don't like Tel Aviv.
Sure. Take all the
We are way past copyright infringement, man. This is, I don't know how Disney is going to solve for this because they always find a way. But beyond the Kirkverse, Jeffrey Epstein seems to be in the Disney universe too. I think this is what the future is going to be like. You're going to be able to, ChatGPT, can you make me a movie of Jeffrey Epstein as the main character in Up? I remember when digital piracy started, they clamped down on it so quickly. And now copyright is like completely, I cheer it on. I hate copyright myself. I hate intellectual property. I think it's a stupid law. But this is a strange direction for it to go in, where now we are animating child abuse into the Disney movies. All right. I hate everything. Says he's in an article mining for gold and drilling for oil. Stealing my dream. My God. And here we have the final one. This one's very good. As a huge fan of David Fincher and Fight Club, let's watch here.
For 6 months, I couldn't sleep. With insomnia, nothing's real. Everything's far away. Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
This one is so good. Let's watch it again. I love this one. This one is so good, dude. I love it.
For 6 months, I couldn't sleep. With insomnia, nothing's real. Everything's far away. Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
I do think that this has some truth to it, man. I think it's good. But I think it has some truth to it in the sense that, you know, I'm a huge fan of Office Space, Fight Club, American Beauty, these movies that came out when American angst was at an all-time high in the 90s. They're great movies, man. I would even throw Primer into that category, even though it came out later. Primer's a great one if you haven't seen it. I think that Charlie Kirk is the narrator of our time, the Tyler Durden of our time. This is really, I'm not even making a commentary on, you know, like they had obviously the big boss as his boss and everything. By the way, people are stealing that from this show. They're starting to say the big boss on Twitter. I started that on this show. Our supervisor, Mr. Netanyahu, okay? But he did live a very Fight Club life, Mr. Kirk. He did. I'm not saying this. I don't need to express my bona fides. I was like the only guy who mourned him, along with Candace Owens and my producer, okay? This is a man who lived that Tyler Durden life. You know, he made himself into a fighter out of a boring, you know, conservative thing to really feel something because, you know, things were, Obama had kind of lulled us into a sleep. And Charlie Kirk came out and dared to fight against it and was shot for it, just like the end of Fight Club. I really think this one speaks on a deeper, I'm going to repost this. This is a great one, man. Like, this is a great one. I really do like this one. I think it gets at something that was true about Charlie Kirk's life. Absolutely. All right. Let's get to our main stories. We got to talk about Zohran Mamdani.
Are you a communist?
No, I am not. I don't think that we should have billionaires. No, I call myself a democratic socialist. No, I have many critiques of capitalism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. What I'm focused on is making the city affordable for everyone, not to win an ideological argument.
Okay, I had high hopes for Zohran, man. Not in terms of the politics. Screw all that and beyond that. I thought it was going to make New York fun and everything. And so far, it's been fine. It's been whatever. I don't know. Zohran is having a lot of trouble, big trouble in the Big Apple, okay? And I think what's happening here is that Zohran has become a talisman, an idol for other politicians to use to elevate their standing. Okay? A lot like AOC did. Okay? I don't think Bernie did that. And these boomers are attacking my boy Zohran, man. He can't get anything done. Hell is other people because they need to attack. First, let's get the update on how New York is doing with this cold, because we've been following this. 13 days into this cold spell, and Zohran Mamdani was letting the homeless sleep under the Manhattan Bridge. For the last 30 years, the NYPD did code blue sweeps of the homeless off streets in freezing weather. Mamdani ended that policy and 19 people died. Now, I've seen a lot of conservatives mocking this or saying like, oh, you're a failure. Isn't this kind of what they want? In some ways, I understand that liberals care a lot about homeless people. Although I do take issue with that. I think that a lot of it is like this paternal, condescending thing with homeless people. By the way, I had a friend who red-pilled me on this. The reason homeless people even exist is because we've become so much of like an urban society. In the past, homeless people didn't exist. They just went out and lived as hermits. Here in Florida, on 10,000 Isles, it was full of homeless people. So I guess they're mad that Zohran Mamdani is a small government conservative, you know? He's not picking up the snow. He's not using the police. He's saving money on the budget for the free buses, I hope. Is it really that cold up there, dude? It was finally warm again here. It's like in the 80s. Thank God. It was freezing. It was like 60 degrees in Florida. It was terrible. The worst. I hate 60 degrees. I hate it. I need it at 70 minimum. I'm already struggling there. But yeah, you know, it's just look, man, you want to, I've said it before, it would be trite to say it again. These homeless people, they want to be out there. Otherwise, they would not be out there. And you can say, oh, I want to help them. Why don't you give them a job application too then? You know, they don't want to be part of it. Why are you bringing hell to them? You know, I'm very empathetic from another direction towards homeless people. Where I'm like, dude, they've chosen a lifestyle. Why are you going after it? All right, let's continue. Here we have to look at Zohran Mamdani went before the New York Assembly. And this was a huge deal for, I guess, like acolytes of Mark Levin, because he was castigated here for his executive order removal and his economic views or something. Let's watch here Michael Novakov, I don't know how to pronounce that, who is a member of the assembly representing Brooklyn. He made a little hype edit of himself. Let's watch.
Talk, no action. So this is exactly what I asked Mayor Mamdani. We need...
First of all, brother, you are a 40-year-old man, I assume. What are you doing with this digital watch, brother? What are you doing? This belt is not thick enough. This buckle sucks. This jacket is too tight, man. It's too tight. This should be buttoned. Brother, what are you doing? I'll give you the sleeve length. Brother. You are not a serious person.
Donnie, we need actions. We need actions to fight against anti-Semitism. So I asked him what were the concrete actions to protect the Jewish community, to fund the safety measures in issues. And again, as a response, we've heard I met with a rabbi, I did this, I did that, but nothing concrete. So we want him to feel our pain so he understands. I don't know if he's able to feel the pain, I don't know, because it looks like everything is a show and he's a great showman. And this hearing is a kind of a show because, again, we don't see actions, just words and show and smiles and promises. And I've met with a rabbi, I've met with that, and you know, we need actions.
Yeah, it's a show. Thank you for saying it. You are making it a show. This man here, I'm going to pull up the clip, said that Jewish people are responsible for the New York budget. He said that verbatim. You made it a show, and you made it something that is so anti-Semitic, man. How can you say that? How can you say that? Do you think that's a good look? Nothing on my part against the Jewish community. Why would you say that? Why don't you say that you control the weather? Like, this is insane stuff to be saying, dude. It's like Mark Levin infected the minds of everyone in this assembly. Let's move on because we have to see here how they... Oh, no, it wasn't him. It was someone else. But all right, same thing. Firstly, I want to show here, before we get back to the whole thing with the Jewish community, this is Assembly Member Brooke Krasny, 46th Assembly District, who asked Mr. Zohran if he's lived under socialism. Here's where we live.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, and it's a fundamental question to this discussion about budget.
Yes.
And I will ask you a question, then within 10 seconds, I will prove that this question is germane to the whole budgeting process in New York State and New York City.
Please.
Have you ever lived under socialism?
This guy should get voted out immediately. What is this, the Matt Walsh show? Have you ever lived under socialism? You know where he's lived. He was an immigrant. You have all his papers. You're literally making... I get it. You're from the Soviet Union. You don't like it. I get it. But, bro, dude, how can you, as someone, let's say you're a conservative who does not like Zohran Mamdani, your representatives are asking, what is a woman tier questions at the assembly? That's what they're doing. They're asking him if he's lived under socialism. We are wasting time here, folks. This is the worst bread and circus. We have the worst bread. We have some good circus, you know, the NFL. This sucks. This sucks. What if the answer is no, which it is? What are you going to say? He has the answer for that. Have you not read through like the DSA tenets or whatever? They defend Cuba. They defend Venezuela. They defend socialist countries in operation right now. What a waste of everyone's time. I honestly, man, I know I hate everything's not a fan of Zohran, that's fine. But he should get a medal for going through this, dude. Imagine being confronted by this. This is you arguing with a boomer that rotisserie chicken is not a splurge. You saw that article this week, right? Brother, we're trying to make something cool in New York. I don't know if it'll work. I don't live there, okay? Maybe I don't have enough stakes to comment. You know, I get real mad about Ron DeSantis. He has a vision. He may be wrong. I don't agree with all of it. But he has a vision, and that is something. And you're out here debating the Cold War. It's been 40 years. It's been 40 years. It's been 40 years. It's been 40 years. This poor man is trying to be the mayor, and he's answering Charlie Kirk questions at the assembly. He should be out there making the buses free. I want to see the free bus. We will never get the free bus if this is what's happening behind the scenes. Have you ever lived under socialism? Buddy, come on. And so what if he has? Maybe he's from the Soviet Union. They got people into space. Maybe he can do that for New York City. You know, I don't know. I don't know what he can do. He's definitely not Stalin, but maybe he could do something. Instead of, you know, dude, and I'm sure Eric Adams was going through the same hell. I'm sure Eric Adams would have opened a bunch of cool nightclubs. And then these guys were like, have you ever lived under Miami Beach authoritarianism? And he was like, brother, I'm just trying to open 11. I just want people to smoke a hookah inside. What's the big deal? I hate everything. Says, welcome to New York State politics. Dude, I this is mind-numbing, dude. Mind-numbing. And I see Dane said, thank you, Dane. If you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. It takes half a second to like, half a second to subscribe. It's literally free. And join us in the chat. But subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you, Dane. Let's continue. Let's see how this... Dude, it's like... You can't... How do you answer this?
Sorry?
Have you ever lived under socialism?
I've lived in Astoria, which has the privilege of being represented by socialist representatives at every level of government.
So your experience with socialism is rather theoretical.
I would say
maybe even poetical.
I would say it was practical, but you can make your point.
So let me assure you that if you need a mentor on socialism, come to me. I've been living under socialism for about 31st years of my life. Now, the question is, you know that Wall Street is bringing about 25 or 28% to the state budget coffers. And I don't know, 20% to the city, 22%? I'm just afraid, Mr. Mayor, that your philosophy of taxing more and more millionaires and the corporations will lead someday to the decision of Wall Street stock market executives packing their belongings and leave for Texas or Florida. Then what are we going to do?
So, Assemblymember, what I can tell you is that I believe that every New Yorker deserves to live a dignified life in our city. And today, despite the incredible wealth that is generated in our city, 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty. We are speaking about a despair that we have come to accept as if it is normal in our city. And our vision is for a city not where anyone has to leave, no matter how much money they're making, whether it be a lot or a little, but rather where everyone can stay and others can join us. And what I've been proud of over these 6 weeks is that we have been working to deliver for the very New Yorkers that have long been overlooked. Whether
Mr. Mayor, I'm so sorry interrupting. I'm looking at that watch.
Please.
And do you have any concern of them leaving New York? I'm talking about Wall Street, stock market. Do you have any concern? Like, I have a big concern. because of your philosophy. So do you have any concern about that?
I am confident that people will continue to stay in the city. In 2021, we had the same conversation. We were told there would be fewer millionaires. There are more today. And so I believe that this is not only important for working class New Yorkers, it's important for the continued vitality of the city.
Mr. Mayor, your knowledge about socialism is purely theoretical. Thank you very much for your answer.
We should meet in Astoria one time.
You can't do anything in this damn country, man. You can't. They won't let you do it. They won't let you. They won't let you. Listen, I don't know if it's going to work or not. But if you're going to ask about Wall Street leaving, then ask about Wall Street leaving. I get it. You had a bad experience with socialism. My family did too. He's trying to do something new. Novelty is interesting, at least. It's at least interesting. You can't do anything, man. They won't let you do anything in this country. I get it. I get it. Maybe he's gonna tax people and they'll go away, and you're concerned about that. Talk to him about it. What are we doing? We're litigating the Cold War. For all the shit talking by PBD and Mark Levin, we have an immigrant fighting another immigrant about a country that doesn't even exist anymore in the New York State Assembly. What are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Dude, it makes me lose my mind. Can't we have anything cool in the country? Anything cool? If Trump tomorrow got up and said, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to see if we can build cars that are powered by nuclear energy. I'm sure every liberal would come out and be like, that's so stupid. Because they did it the first time. He said, what if we nuke a hurricane? And they were like, hey, he's so stupid. Look at him. And I was like, let him try it. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Do you know? Do you have a degree in physics? I don't know. Why can't we do anything in this country anymore? You can't nuke a hurricane. You can't make buses free. Everything is a debate about something from 30 years ago. I had everything says, I just think it was a bad move because he decided to do this while governor is running for re-election. That is true, man. That is true. He's in a really tough position, man. I don't know how he's going to balance that. He has Trump on side, though. Hopefully, Trump can help him out. Astoria has become hipster transplant central. I believe that, man. I believe that. I've been to Astoria, and it is hipster transplant central from what I saw. All the nice little coffee shops and stuff. Good coffee. Not as good as San Francisco, but good coffee. And here we have this gentleman here. Bro, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Ari Brown. Let's see Ari Brown engaging in anti-Semitic tropes against himself.
This is your statistics from your NYPD during your first month in office. Yes or no?
There were 31 incidents of anti-Semitism.
Thank you. That's a yes.
City.
Thank you,
Mr. Brown. This is a budget hearing, not a opportunity
Thank
to
you,
make,
Chair Pretlow. On your
political-
first day in
Don't-
office. Excuse me, Mr. Pretlow.
Don't.
On your first day
Don't.
Don't what?
Don't go on. This is a budget hearing.
I
Have
understand.
respect for our mayor.
The local government.
We're asking about budgetary items.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Please
Pretlow.
limit your questions to budgetary items.
Absolutely. On your first day in office, you revoked New York City's adoption of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. Yes or no, Mr. Mayor?
On my first day in office, I revoked all executive orders issued by the prior
I'll take
mayor
that as a
after
yes.
he was indicted by the
You
federal.
were asked about the phrase globalizing the Intifada, and you declined to denounce it, Mr. Mayor. Is that a yes or a no?
I strongly discourage the language, and I have not used the language myself.
You declined to unequivocally condemn slogans like globalize the Intifada and from the river to the sea, saying you would not police language. Yes or no?
Assembly member, these are not budget items.
The Jews have a lot to do with the budget of New York City, so
Timekeeper.
Why would you say that? The Jews have a lot to do with the budget of New York City. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Don't you think that's going to be clipped and used? Why would you say that? 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 You're not thinking before you speak? You're a politician. That's all you have to do. Why would you say that? Do you think that's going to be good for the Jewish community or bad for the Jewish community to say that? Why would you say that? These guys have lost their minds. And I don't mean the Jewish people. I mean everyone opposing Zohran Mamdani has lost their mind. You're at a budget meeting and you're talking about how the Jews control the budget of New York City. Do you think if Nick Fuentes said this, how would they take it? Why would you say that? Are the dumbest people in office right now? The dumbest people? The dumbest. Why would you say that? And everything says, I mean, Brad Land. but I think this goes beyond that, right? This is like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is like, what's that documentary they all show? Something about like Europa, the last battle. Like this is something you would get out of that documentary. What do you do when a Jewish person is engaging in anti-Semitic canards? What do you do? Like, do you fight with? Where is the HJIC? The head Jewish person in charge. Where are they? I know where mine is. He's at the White House. It's Marco Rubio. He's the head Latino in charge. Why would you say this? Someone needs it, man. And here he is. Look at, so proud he made a response. Let's watch him here.
Yesterday, they cut my microphone. Today, let me make this perfectly clear. You can silence a mic, but you can't silence the truth. As the ranking member of the state's local governments committee, I asked Mayor Zohran Mamdani straightforward yes or no questions about anti-Semitism and public safety. Instead of answers, the majority, the Democrat majority, chose censorship. When the only yarmulke-wearing Republican in New York State elected history is shut down for raising anti-Semitism, that's not procedure, that's a warning sign. If they are this afraid of questions, imagine the answers. I will keep asking them.
Brother, it was a budget meeting. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I think Zohran deserves to take a stroll down Roosevelt Avenue, find a decriminalized Venezuelan prostitute, and have himself a little rub and tug to decompress after this discussion. This is so annoying. You can't do anything in this country anymore. Literally nothing. In this, if you try to build a treehouse in your backyard, you'll get the ATF at your door killing you. You can't do anything. Anything. It was a budget meeting. So that's how it's going for Zohran, man. Everything says, I shed a tear every time I watch these New York City Council meetings. The city and state are run by retards. How do you think I feel, dude? My state's run by a retard. No, man, but he needs some Venezuelan love on Roosevelt Avenue, dude, because it's just not. All right, let's continue, man. Fucking ridiculous. Let's get to Rubio. Let's cheer up a little bit. We got to look at Marco Rubio, the head Latino in charge, the head Hispanic in charge. Marco Rubio today said, no, this was not today. This was on the 12th, so yesterday. He said something that Marco Rubio, Enrique Kissinger over here, is America's Mark Carney, dude. Listen to this. I'm glad to see someone address the change in the way the world works.
The world is changing very fast right in front of us. The old world is gone, frankly, the world I grew up in, and we live in a new era in geopolitics, and it's going to require all of us to sort of re-examine what that looks like and what our role is going to be. And we've had many of these conversations in private with many of our allies, and they are our allies, and we need to continue to have those conversations, and I think Saturday, hopefully, and the meetings we'll have there will move us in that direction.
The old world is gone. The world I grew up in is gone. And that means the world you grew up in is gone. Marco Rubio out here, we take the world as it is, not as how we would wish it to be. Mark Carney, we have a brain here, bro. This is the smartest Hispanic on the planet. We need this is the smartest. Love him or hate him. We're the world as is gone. Frankly, the world I grew up in, the old world is gone. I'm glad to see a single politician say this, because no one has said this after COVID, and just admitting it is good enough. Thank you, Marco. They're gonna make this guy a saint in the Hispanic community. They're gonna be, this is the guy who gave us our image. This is the guy. Mr. Elu says, Marco Rubio seems to be quoting Gramsci, if the world is struggling to be born, this is the time of monsters. True. This is the time for the Leviathan to awaken. I never think since when Rubio become a doomer? Dude, it's not even doomer. This is like, it's scary, but you're also excited. You know, you feel a tingling in your nuts or your ovaries. You're like, God damn, the old world is gone. We have a new world. Oh my God, this is crazy. And we have to get to Cuba, because he said this, and I have to update you on the situation in Cuba, okay? In Cuba, the American ambassador to Cuba is this guy called Mike Hammer. He's been doing a tour of the island, and he's been talking to like normal Cubans. I'm sure there's probably a propaganda aspect to it, but it's actually very endearing if you see him. His Spanish isn't perfect, and it's really good. And if you know anything about Hispanics, dude, we will castigate a Hispanic guy that speaks broken Spanish. But a gringo that speaks Spanish, we're like, get your ass over here, dude. You gotta come to the asado. Look at this gringo. He speaks Spanish. It's crazy. Look at him. Look at this guy. So there's a lot of love for him amongst, I know people in Cuba. I knew someone that met him a few weeks ago. They're like, dude, he's so nice, you know? So he's been doing this little tour around Cuba, obviously part of a propaganda tour, because for those that don't remember, we currently have an actual blockade of Cuba in a lot of ways, where we're not letting any oil in. We are taking down tankers that were going from Venezuela to Cuba, dark ships and all this. So Cuba is struggling. Cuba's not having a great time. It's very hard to get petroleum. So we have to see here the little tour that's going on. It's been going on for a month or so.
Hola.
¿Mi mamá?
Mike, de la Embajada de Estados Unidos, ahí en La Habana.
Muchas gracias por todo. Sí, como no, una gran ayuda.
Yeah.
Tengo unos pequeñitos de ya casi un año, la niña de 9, el de 4 y el otro rubito de 3.
Hola.
Diga mucho cuento porque es un poco pequeña.
No. Con la olla funciona bien, ha podido cocinar.
Sí, vea cómo no, muchísimas gracias. Yo hacía mucho tiempo estaba pidiendo, suplicando a mi Dios, porque bueno, yo voy a la iglesia. Y yo no tenía dónde cocinar y yo decía, ay Dios mío, envíame un ángel con tu ayuda y que me envíe aunque sea un fogón para yo poder cocinar, porque yo estoy cocinando con leña en un fogoncito que tengo allá atrás.
So they're discussing her ability to cook, because she didn't have any way to heat food. It's miserable over there, dude. It's been miserable for a while. So with this little tour that he's been doing, this is actually in regards to the wreck of that Hurricane Melissa left behind, which the communist government of Cuba, guys, love them or hate them. You know, I'm pretty nuanced on the subject. Dude, this hurricane happened 2 years ago, and they still haven't cleaned it up. So he went to Holguin. Holguin, by the way, if for anyone that speaks Spanish, these are the guys with the weirdest accent in Cuba. You meet someone from Holguin and you're like, I met one once at a Publix. They were making a sandwich for me. I was like, where are you from? You sound Cuban, but weird. And they're like, oh, I'm from Holguin. Everyone says we talk weird. And I was like, yeah, you guys talk really weird compared to the rest of the island. So, he's doing a little propaganda tour, of course. But it's actually endearing. It is actually kind of endearing. And everything says, is he related to Randy the Hebrew Hammer? That would be funny if Randy Fine did a diplomatic tour of Cuba. And I see Adrian's here. How you doing, Adrian? Marco Rubio supporting the Latino futurist. Mr. Fuentes. All right. And here he is again. Here he is actually filming in Santiago, which is one of the more important ports in Cuba. It's right near Guantanamo. This is where the rebels came in with Fidel Castro. Filming in the humanitarian aid that America sent, which is not through USAID.
Hola, aquí en el puerto de Santiago, donde dentro de poco llegará un barco con más ayuda humanitaria mandada por la administración Trump para los más damnificados del huracán Melissa. He estado dando una gira por la región para ver si está llegando la asistencia y a ver si podamos seguir mandándola para aliviar el sufrimiento y para mejorar un poco las condiciones del pueblo.
He's saying, here's the supplies arriving that the United States sent as humanitarian aid to Cuba from the Trump administration to help them rebuild after Hurricane Melissa. I hope we can keep bringing more in. Okay? Now, what happened is this video came out where he is getting harassed now by, they're saying, members of the Cuban regime. Okay? What I assume this is, given my knowledge on the subject, is this is probably the state sent the CDRs after him. If you don't know what a CDR is, it's a Committee for the Defense of the Revolution. It comes from the French Revolution. It's like these neighborhood watches that exist to reinforce the communist regime. And I'm using that term neutrally, okay? Don't get mad at me. And they're following him around and yelling at him. This is a common tactic that they use. They follow you around and they yell at you. Sometimes they hit you and stuff. They're not exactly popular even with normal Cubans, like normal guys who live there, because they're annoying. You're just trying to fucking buy something and they already know who you are. My father had a friend who worked at a refinery. He's Venezuelan and he went to Cuba because it was so bad in Venezuela. So he went to work in Cienfuegos, which is in the south. And he left the refinery one day and he talked to a Cuban and he was like, oh yeah, you're the Venezuelan guy that works at the refinery. What's up, dude? And he was like, I've never met you before. And it was like, oh yeah, dude, don't worry. The CDR told me all about you. And it's, oh yeah, this is how it works. So this is how they are harassing him. Now, in this day and age, I'm going to say, I think that this is very ridiculous because the United States came out and they were like, you can't harass our diplomats. That's against international law. And we're talking about international law. Okay, whatever. Putting that aside. The reality is this, is that you don't have the numbers. You don't have the technology. You don't have anything. You have people that can scream at people. And they have the invisible plane. The United States has the invisible plane. So I wouldn't go around harassing the ambassador, especially given that there are talks, it's rumored, for the people that are in the Cuban government to actually move to Russia and leave the country behind for a transition, or to open the economy, actually. Stay in place, but open the economy. Very similar to Venezuela. Everything says, do you think he likes big booty Latinos? Dude, if he's in Cuba, small booties now, because there's not a lot of food. Not a lot of food. Here he is talking about the potential transition strategy in Cuba to Telemundo.
Hay conversaciones con algunos muy altos.
We have conversations with very higher ups.
Dentro del régimen.
In the regime.
Otros no estarán enterados. Hay algunos que salen y dicen una declaración, no hay nada. Y de repente al día o dos dicen, bueno, o sea, eso se tiene que hacer. de la manera en que lo estamos haciendo. Yo solamente
Others don't know about this.
te pongo el ejemplo de Venezuela. ¿Qué ha pasado ahí?
I'm going to use Venezuela as an example, he says.
¿De dónde salió Delcy Rodríguez y cómo se están moviendo las cosas?
How did Delcy Rodriguez become the president of Venezuela?
Bueno, vamos a ver.
¿Quién
I don't know.
es la Delcy Rodríguez en Cuba?
Ya sabes que no te puedo.
Do we have a Delcy Rodriguez in Cuba? Asked the reporter, and he says, you already know I can't tell you.
Buena pregunta, lo aprecio, buen periodista. No vamos a entrar en...
I guess I saw bad clips of him before. His Spanish is like excellent. This is fluent Spanish. This is great Spanish. Where did he study this? Let me look this up real quick, man. This is really, really good Spanish. I had misjudged him. I thought I saw him. Do we have anything here? Hammer is not like a Hispanic name. He served as U.S. ambassador to Chile. For his appointment to Chile, he was assistant secretary of state. I guess he must have picked it up in Chile, unfortunately for him, but he doesn't have a Chilean accent. A little bit in the cadence. Very, very good Spanish. All right. So you see him here already saying, hey, man, look, we have someone in there. All right. I can't tell you, but we have someone in there, which going with the blockade is kind of scary. What picture? This pic? Let me see. I Googled Mike Hammer. I don't know because this came up. It's a fictional character, too. Mike Hammer is a fictional character created by American author Mickey Spillane. Book I, The Jury. I never heard of this, Mike Hammer. I didn't know that picture existed. And so now here I have to show you Mexico has been agitating, and Mexico is sending in humanitarian aid as well. They sent it with a military convoy to make sure that things got in. They sent 2 ships, and here we can see it arriving. So the Mexicans are sending someone in, all right. And we also have Code Pink, which says the U.S. is trying to starve 10 million Cubans. We are bringing 2,500 lentils of Cuba to break this criminal genocidal blockade. Lift the blockade now in Cuba. And as you can tell, it's always Code Pink doing this kind of stuff. And you know what? I may have my differences with Code Pink. I find them to be incredibly annoying. However, if you're bringing in food, you're bringing in food. That's good. People will get to eat some more, you know? And I also wanted to show you here that the Progressive International is doing a flotilla. It's called the Nuestra America Flotilla. And it's sailing to Cuba, I assume from Miami. You can go on their website here if you want to go on it. I wouldn't recommend it personally. But here, they're sailing to Cuba to bring critical humanitarian aid for its people. They're asking for support. You can join them, and you have to email a Proton mail. If you don't think that these are feds, feel free to sign up for this. I would not trust this myself, but, do whatever you want. I don't think that this is... You can send food to Cuba, by the way. Like, this is not a difficult thing to do. If you go on Cuba Max or something, guys, if you want to do this, if you want to help someone in Cuba, there are ways of helping them where it will get directly to them. You go on Cuba Max and you call them and say, hey, look, I want to deliver some food. They have a website where you can choose whatever you want. And they're going to ask you to who, because it's for particulars. And you'd be like, I don't know, I bless someone. And they probably won't steal your money, dude. They'll probably just give it to someone. Someone will end up eating that food in Cuba. So if you believe the feds, you can do it like that. But you can also do it the smart way, the way that people in Miami send food to their family in Cuba, which is just use Cuba Max or any of these services. You are probably working with the Cuban regime in some sense, if that bothers you. Wow, it's 12:01. We're going late tonight because we have a lot more to get through. Everything says genocidal. Why is everything genocidal? I don't know, because they're not trying to kill everyone in Cuba, And so today we had this very interesting event where the refinery in Havana blew up.
Mira pa' eso. Mira pa' eso. Algo grande pasó en la refinería. No, está cogiendo una fuerza terrible.
So you can see there, a oil refinery in Havana caught fire. We don't know who did it. No one really knows. No one's admitted or said blah, 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 I don't know. But, Operation Mongoose, for those that aren't aware, were sabotage operations in Cuba. The Cuban government is so incompetent, man. because I know someone that worked in a refinery, okay? I know someone who worked in a refinery in Cuba, and he was like, these people are retarded. They will not let me work with the Italian team that has the only material we need. We need to work with some retarded system here that doesn't work. He was Venezuelan. He wasn't biased. He was an engineer. He's autistic. He just wants it to work. So this didn't work. Effer says, wait, this guy's maybe connected with the Atlas network. Think. They are also trying to install Cast and Chill. Well, Cast 1, I can see right through their game clearly. Cast 1, Cast is, I see Mr. Elu asking if he's a fascist. Cast is just going to be another Pineda, in my opinion. Cast is going to be like a Malay Pineda hybrid. I don't think much of Cast. I don't think that he's going to be a big deal. They call him a fascist because his father was a member of the German army and moved to Chile. But, dude, the Chilean right wing, there's not really any fascists in there, dude. We don't even really have any people that try to reclaim Pinochet at this point. And I would just point out this last thing here. Today we had another strike in the Caribbean. Take with that what you will. We're watching a little snuff film here. All right, so people died. So Cuba's heating up, man. It's an interesting time. Let's get to our final story. Jaime Wetback, Mr. James Fishback himself. Mr. James Fishback. My Hispanic brother from another mother, another Colombian mother, my Grand Colombian friend, my Grand Colombian neighbor, my Grand Colombian governor. James Fishback this week got banned on Twitter. What? What did they do? They tried to burn his house down, and now they're trying to silence him. An African CEO is trying to silence my Hispanic brother, Mr. Fishback. They tried to kill my wife. They banned him off Tinder. They tried to burn his house down, and now they banned him off Twitter. It is hard being Hispanic in this country. It's hard, man. They banned him off Twitter. All right, but he's back. Don't fret. Let's look today at one of his tweets here going after the Epstein vote like Ro Khanna. Hey, at Pam Bondi, the Dow just dipped below 50K. Can we get those Epstein arrests now? This man comes back on Twitter, immediately striking. All right. Now, here, I also wanted to show you this week. We can see here this governor, bro. This man, he is the Obama groiper. Okay, he is the Obama groiper. And you're about to see it. This man, when he sees a groiper in the wild, he's like, come here, my brother, how you doing? You know, he is that. Okay, I think he might come to the Waffle House like an hour from me. I might go see him again. Let's see him here, how he's doing his handshakes with the groipers. Look at this man.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. James Fishback.
Demetrius Miller.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Same here.
Hey, man. James.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What'd you get?
Could you,
Nice to meet you, John.
Mr. Ian Roberts.
Nice to meet you.
Peter Tencio.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Jerome Smith.
Come on, brother. What's up, fam?
We have the secret groiper handshake on full display. Get your ass in here, my man. The Zoomer perm, get your ass in here. You know, we're respectful to the African-American community. They make Florida. Zora Neale Hurston is our black person of the day. Ray Charles was yesterday.
Same here.
But when you see a groiper...
Hey, man. James.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What'd you get?
Could
you do the predator handshake there. All right. I hate everything says Byron working overtime. Bro, Byron doesn't rest. He doesn't rest. Here's the ban. Well, before that, let's see this, dude. This is important, okay? The free press, everyone is ripping off this show, dude. And I don't really care because I'm not a copyright guy. They're all ripping me off, though. And I would like some credit. I said this was Florida Zohran a month ago. And now the free press is saying that. Look at the free press here. Not since Zohran Mamdani's election night party last year have I seen a crowd of politically engaged young people so simultaneously outraged at the current state of the world and determined to set it straight by radical means if necessary. River Page from the Free Press. I'm setting the trend here, And Barry, my wife, is stealing my ideas. She's stealing my IP. Barry, I said this already. I said it a month ago. You might as well cut me a check. You might as well cut me a check. It's not fair. I said this. Whatever, I'm not going to get barred. Let's get to the Twitter ban. Okay. James Fishback, this was on the 12th, okay, has been suspended from X. He has been blocked from logging in for the last 5 hours. This is kind of a surrogate of his, Joan. He posts a lot about him, okay? All right. This is the African man blocked my Hispanic brother from tweeting. Not okay. Okay, but don't you worry, because as of today, they were doing this while he was suspended. Hashtag I can't tweet. Hashtag free James Fishback. And we have him on the George Floyd edit. These guys, bro. These guys are crazy. These guys are crazy. 112 says, thank God I have to track King Leo's track Mr. Fishback. I need to follow the saga like a drug. Get him on the show. I reached out. I'll admit I reached out, but I haven't gotten any response. I reached out. But we will try. And Mr. Elu says, are you Nelly Bowles because you're in the Epstein file? My God. The trolling. The troll. All right. And today he's back. And he posted this as soon as he was back. This was at 4 o'clock Eastern. Yesterday, my bad. He posted this. This was his first tweet.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard or fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere!
I'm not leaving.
He's not leaving. He's not leaving. Nelly is... No. Mystery, you can't write that. That's my wife you're talking about. I'm not a bigamist. Okay, that's my wife. Nelly is not her. Nelly is some woman that's with Barry sometimes in pictures. That's my wife. It's not his wife. It's not her wife, okay? That's my wife. Okay? It's my wife. I let her do her little things with Epstein and all that, but you know, that's me. And everything says the debate is going to be glorious. Dude, the debate's going to be great. It's going to be great. This is the funniest candidate we've ever had for governor in Florida. The funniest one. No holds barred, the funniest one. Dude, we're going to watch that live. It's going to be great stuff, man. I can't wait. So those are our stories, folks. Let's once again honor Zora Neale Hurston. Let's watch the rest of this clip from PBS, man. Zora Neale Hurston, our black person of the day. Let's play us in, actually. Let's do it one more time and make sure everyone knows.
You have to think, young brother, about your future.
Take it from me, someday we'll all be free.
So once again, Zora Neale Hurston, a Florida legend. She wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God, conservative black woman, disliked by some because, you know, she wanted to move a little slower than W.E. Du Bois and her other people around the time. But I always respect her. She put Florida on the map. She documented the lives of people whose lives deserve to be documented. She was a great author. I need to read the latest book, the one that they mentioned in this clip about the last slave in America that was brought in the transatlantic slave trade, who she interviewed. She is one of the best black people to have ever lived. I really admire her. And a documentary filmmaker, a writer, just a genius all around. So let's just finish this clip here from PBS so we can give her a good honor.
There's some beautiful footage of just some women on a porch and one walks to camera. And that's where you definitely see that this is an ethnographic film. She started realizing that what she grew up with was important to document and to study and to share and then to bring to the public. Hurston shot 15 rolls of film, although some are lost, which comes out to be about 85 minutes of material that she shot and/or directed. I place Hurston in the early history of film as someone who is anthropology trained, who was using film as an ethnographic tool. Anthropology gave her a kind of license to take these stories and this material that she knew and see it in a new way. It became culture. Hurston was ahead of her time because of her anthropological methods and techniques. So here you have Zora Neale Hurston coming along using a film camera to document people that looked like her, to show that Black culture wasn't something that was set in like amber. Black people were important and beautiful and had significantly contributed to American culture.
Hats off to her. I respect any anthropologist. I really do. And she was a good woman, man. It's a shame that where she's from, it's like a shithole now, dude. Like most of the Florida traditional agricultural portions, it just sucks now, unfortunately. Mr. Elu says, didn't Du Bois want the Talents 10th? He did want the Talents 10th, but I'm speaking in the sense of the debate he had with Booker T. She sided with Booker T. She was like, because of course Du Bois was an elitist, and that's his prerogative, that's fine. But he wanted more radical reforms quicker. He wanted full emancipation, full rights, and all this. Whereas Booker T and Zora were saying, hey, let's get educated first. Let's become very intelligent. Let's uplift our people. And then we can ask to join American society. Because we have a lot of work to do. Obviously, Du Bois won that debate. But that's just the case, you know? 112 says, very cool silver bromide. Dude, silver bromide, that's let me check that, man. That's the film, right? That you're talking about film. Yeah. My 112, that's pretty impressive, man. How did you know it's silver bromide? It's crazy, man. This man knows. Yeah, you're right. It is silver bromide. 112. Surprising, man. That's pretty cool. Mr. Yu says it was the time of scientific. Yes, it's true. But I don't think she was a scientific. I think she really was just like, listen, man, I want to be part of this society, but we're not there yet. And I can understand that. Like, imagine your people come out of slavery in her lifetime, probably like a few decades before, right? They come out of slavery, they're in sharecropping, they're uneducated, she feels they need some education. Otherwise, how are you going to understand your rights? You know? I'm talking about Du Bois. Oh, okay. Yes, of course. He wanted the talented 10th, but that is elitism. That's what I'm saying. Du Bois was an elitist who wanted the talented 10th to run. It's like the 5%er stuff, right? Oh, I get you. That was a scientific racism. Got you. That makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if you were saying about Zora, because a lot of people were like, oh, you know, she's a coon, you know, she's not trying to get us to be full civil rights and everything, but, you know. Let's check who's on Bill Maher, man, and then we'll have some traditional black music play us out. Oh, yes!
All right, here we go.
Oh, he's wearing his brown suit tonight. Who's on Bill Maher? Jonathan Haidt. Ooh, I actually like General H.R. McMaster. I don't like him. And Stephanie Ruhle. Who's Stephanie Ruhle? Check what this is. Stephanie Ruhle. Television host on what? Bloomberg Television. Oh, she's the editor at Bloomberg? Okay, this should be interesting. Better than last week. Bill Maher has started off pretty bad. I have not liked his show so far this year. It has not been a good season of Bill Maher. I should be more angry. MSNBC. Okay. Stephanie Ruhle. I don't recognize her, man. Maybe it's a Wikipedia picture. Let me see here. MSNBC. Dude, I haven't watched this show. I haven't watched the show with her. I have not. Have not watched the show with her. All right, I'm gonna learn about Stefan. Oh, MS Now. That name change. What do we have play us out tonight? What do we have play us out? What great black artists do we have to play today? We mentioned this. Let's go for J Electronica deep cut. This was with Moleskin. This is back when we thought he was gonna be cool. Let's watch J Electronica in Tibet, I believe.
Yo, Andy, you feel like do me a favor and bring me a cig and a lighter in here? Thank you kindly, sir. It wouldn't happen to be no Jack Daniels around here, would it?
He really could have been something, huh?
Have you ever been depressed so bad? It was a struggle every day not to regret your past. Feeling cursed like you never ever get your swag, and you was speeding down the highway when your threshold passed. When you cried all your tears.
It was never continued. I think this is India, Mr. Elu. I don't know where they shot this, dude. Yeah, there's no description. I think this is India or Nepal. He went through, because he's a Nation of Islam guy, but I think he went through a little Buddhist phase. J Electronica married, I don't know if he married or dated a Rothschild. Like a Nation of Islam guy was with a Rothschild's woman. That's crazy. You agree with height on phones, I'm assuming? Not really, man. I liked his book about the American mind, how like we rationalize all our morality and morality is not really real. How it's all like post hoc. But on the phone thing, I'm a brain chip guy. I want that brain chip as soon as possible. Get that brain chip inside me, Dude, the kids should be on their phones. iPad babies is so 10 years ago, dude. We need to have kids wearing Apple Watches out the womb. That way they'll know how to live. All right, everybody. I appreciate everyone tuning in to our show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please like, comment, subscribe. It's literally free, and it takes half a second. It helps the show a lot. Here we have the plugs. Again, we have the Discord. We have the Patreon. $5 or $20 a month. And the What Would Appear Postmodernist or What Would Appear Morgan Do bracelet. On the Discord, I might be active this weekend, dude. I might be sending you guys things from the Everglades because I'll be out there. I'm also getting an update to one of my guns, man. So I might send that in there. I don't know if I should. I'm going to ask Gemini. That's a bad idea, but I'm very excited about it. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. Because, people post their guns on YouTube. What's the big deal? Very cool. I agree with you, King Leo, on height, on the morality thing. I agree, man. I agree. And Afra says, Hinduism is interesting and saying live in the edge and complete your dharma. Good night. A good night, 112. The Beatles went to India. Culture follows our. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that the Hinduism, I really did not rate Hinduism at all until recently. Where now I really understand what the Hindus are saying. And I think that it's a very logical religion that makes a lot of sense for this plane of existence, like the one we're in here, this hell we're in. I really think that it makes sense for that personally. I wouldn't become a Hindu. You know, I'm a postmodern Catholic till I die. But I understand why writers like Evola saw value in Hinduism. Hinduism is like that reincarnation stuff, the Kali Yuga. We're definitely in the Kali Yuga, man. I understand what the Hindus are saying. So before I was like, what is this? They don't eat cows? I don't get it. And I'm like, oh, I get it. It's kind of like Greek mythology, I think, but in the 21st century, you know? Beef sounds delicious. I don't know. I don't know how Hindus can do that, man. You gotta eat the cow. You gotta eat the cow. When I was more like ignorant on Hinduism, I was like, dude, we gotta like get the UN to get Indians to eat more protein. Like they can't be getting enough protein. We need the UN to be like, guys, you gotta eat this protein. If you're not gonna eat cows, you gotta eat something else. You've gotta eat something else because you need protein. I don't get the cow thing personally, but whatever, you know, to each their own. Hinduism is an interesting religion. I think it makes a lot of sense. I would never become a Hindu, but I think it makes a lot of sense. But I will admit, I'm not a BJP guy. I'm not a big fan of Modi. I don't think you should assassinate dissidents on Canadian soil. Is that a controversial take? I don't think you should send shooters after Sikhs in Canada. I get it. They blew up Gandhi on Halloween decades ago. You don't get to kill people in Canada. What? That's when they really lost me. I was like, have you lost your damn mind? That's Canada. You're bringing that shit over here? When Pinochet killed a guy in DC in the 70s, Letelier, it was a huge deal. And these Canadians were just like, oh no, I guess this just happens. This is Canada. How are you going to accept this? This is crazy. Lentils have protein. That's true. I thought the Kali Yuga was like this period of like instability and shittiness. That was my, and maybe I'm reading like Avala's take on the Kali Yuga, you know, ride the tiger. But if it's the end times, dude, it certainly feels like it, you know. Ephra says, you have the right to work, but not the fruits of your work. The truest thing about Hindu, I didn't know that, Ephra. That's a really good, it's a really good aphorism. Is that what it'd be called? Or refrain? Refran? Is that a word in English? Refrain? Thinking in Spanish, man. I'm sorry. God of yoga. Yeah. Thank you for saying I'm right, Mystery. That to me was so disturbing. I was like, dude, first of all, I don't have a problem with Sikhs. I like Sikhs. I think Sikhs are cool. Okay? But I don't think I'm biased, but dude, if you're gonna do that, at least keep it in your country. It's the same thing as when they cut up Khashoggi. How are you gonna do that in Turkey, of all things, of all places? It's gross, you know. Ephra says no, that is some Nazi ass. I really like Evola. Ephra, Evola. I know, of course, he didn't consider him a fascist. He called himself an ultra fascist, but Evola, to me, is really an interesting read. I really got a lot of value out of Ride the Tiger. I know he has like some racist stuff, but out of Ride the Tiger, I was like, oh, I understand. It's like I got a lot of value out of Gwenon as well. I get it. I get the association, but he was, I think, in a lot of ways above the ideology in his writings. So that's where I was like, oh, you know, this is some interesting stuff, you know. But yeah, lentils is good, but moringa has a lot of protein. 112 says lentils start crunch and eventually turn into an awesome taste. Yeah, lentils. Dude, my grandpa used to make lentils with bacon. It was very, very good. I guess Indians can eat that, right? Because it's pig. You can eat. Indians can eat pigs, right? Hindus. Now I'm really ignorant, dude. Hindus can eat pigs. Yes, they can. Oh, but some of them are vegetarians. Dude, you can't do that to yourself. You gotta eat something. You gotta eat like moringa or you gotta get core power over there. I love a core power. Effort says it's more about completing the work in your life without attachment. That's what I like about them. Is that they don't place a lot of value on. They are postmodernists in a lot of ways. This is my ignorant reading of the religion, where it's like, oh, nothing on the material plane is really that significant. Don't fret about it. And obviously that's not great if it leads into apathy in the way that I wouldn't proscribe, which is like accepting your station in life. You got to accept some things, but you got to accept everything, you know? But yeah, Hinduism is an interesting one. My buddy, I've mentioned him before, he was one of the guys who planned J.D. Vance's trip to India. So he went out there and he was like, dude, India? That place is crazy. Told me he got out of the airplane and immediately on the tarmac was surrounded by like 30 Indian children that were like, sir, give me money, please, sir. Sir, give me money. And he was like, dude, I'm Hispanic and we have beggars, but this is like crazy. What is going on here? You know, he was not, he was very uncomfortable with that. What? Yeah. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mr. Elo. I'm ignorant on it, but I've read through Avila and through like, I guess like some very rudimentary stuff. How, like when, for example, when the truck driver, and it's tragic, I'm not excusing anything. The truck driver, the Indian truck driver killed that guy here in Florida last year. Everyone was freaking out and they were like, oh, why isn't he angry or sad or anything? And I was like, I remember some people were like, oh, it's low IQ or something. I was like, oh, wait, I get it. It's like Hinduism. Like they don't really see it as them killing someone or anything. It's like, I'm not saying you should live like that. I think this is a bad idea. But they're like, they didn't like, in their mind, it's not like they killed him. It's more like he's going to reincarnate, so it's going to be okay. And I don't think it's easy to run a society that way, for sure, no. But it's at least a perspective, you know. Most populous country in the world, the British stole all its wealth. Dude, I gotta say, that's one thing that I don't like about India, where they're always like, we're the world's largest democracy as a flex. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I know Bose is controversial, but I like Bose. Bose was an interesting Indian guy. I know he sided with the Nazis and everything, but you have to understand the context. They were colonial subjects and they were mad, you know, so. The Gandhi stuff, I don't get it personally. I really don't get it, but, you know. I don't, you know. 112 says, Philippines is poor too. Facebook is a de facto government there. I've seen that 112 where Facebook is like a very big thing in Southeast Asia, where they love Facebook. It's like the dominant social media, which is odd. Everything says reincarnation sounds like a bitch. Dude, I have to say, I am not coming around. I started coming around to it last year. I do think that there is something to that. I think we have lived many lives. And part of this hell, because we live in hell, is we have no recollection of that at all, you know? I wish you could remember it so you could not repeat the same mistakes. Because that's what I appreciate about Hinduism, is the Western obsession with free will is where it loses me. Where, how do we have free will if some people are born rich and some people are born poor? You know, that's where pulling yourself up by your bootstraps comes from. Where it's like, oh, some people are born poor, but you can work your way up. And it's like, some people can, some people cannot. And we have to accept that and try to make conditions good or okay, you know? Mr. Yu was mentioning Ambedkar. I don't know who Ambedkar is. Let me look that up. I've been wanting to read books about India, but I don't have any. If you have any political history recommendations, Mr. Yu, I'd appreciate it. Converted to Buddhism. Wait, I know who this is. Is this the guy who fought for Dalit rights? Because I was reading, one time I looked up notable Dalits, and they were all like civil rights leaders, you know? So I don't know if that's who he is. 112 says, they are very sophisticated communicating in Southeast Asia. They are. I think they have their own native apps and stuff. It's pretty crazy down there. A lot of stuff. And everything says, doing this all over again. Nah, I'll take the afterlife of Charlie. You're going to get it, dude. You're going to get it. Don't worry. We'll be an AI. We'll be an AI. All right. Yeah, this is the Dalit guy. That's where I recognize him from. Because I was like, have any Dalits done anything notable? And it kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, man, it kind of disappointed me that the Dalit people have not had like someone who has, you know, like built a Facebook or something. Not that I'm aware of, you know? Notable people. Let's see. The Dalit League. No, here. List of Dalits. Anonymous, of course. So how was it? Astrophysicist developed the Sahara. Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong. See, but that's what I mean. Look at the wiki page. It's this much for activists, one guy for art, and then like 5 academics. So I'm like, where are the rest of them? You know, I want to see cool Dalit shit. Padme Shri recipient. Interesting stuff. 112 says there has to be a negative universe for there to be free will. God is still so nice, in my opinion. Dude, I don't think 112. I'm not sure about free will. I really am a guy. I believe in autonomy, but free will, that's very tough. There's so many things that are set in your life. Imagine if you had cancer as a kid or something, you know? You die. What were you supposed to do about that? So with that, everyone, I appreciate everyone tuning in. You had a nice show. I hope you guys are enjoying the change to the thumbnails and the style of the channel. We're cooking something here. We're almost at 1,500. When we're at 1,500, I will get new ties. We'll have more differentiation. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. I will see you guys on Tuesday, but I may see you in the Discord for anyone there joining the link from the Everglades. I hope that there's crocodiles up there. Dude, I hate that about Shark Valley. It's this park where you can go bike and you can see alligators, and I like the gators and everything, but there's like 2 crocodiles there. Last year I went and I saw them, and then I came back and I was like, where are the crocodiles? And they said, oh, some kid on a school bus came and kicked one in the head, and so he ran away. And I was like, I thought crocodiles were the aggressive ones. Why isn't this kid dead? And they said, no, the crocodile was just mad. He just walked away. He was angry, and he hasn't come back. So I hope the crocodiles are out there. But imagine kicking a crocodile in the head. What's wrong with me as a kid to kick? It's a crocodile. It's a dinosaur. That's cool, you know? All right. The atomic era brought nuclear power. Everything is a double-edged sword, but also nuclear weapons. I have a controversial take on nuclear weapons. I went to watch Oppenheimer 2 when it came out at the IMAX in Fort Lauderdale, and I wore my pin. I have a custom pin that says legalize nuclear bombs. And the theater attendant was like, what the fuck are you wearing, dude? 112 says we have both universes in our thoughts, hence the free conscious reality. 112, you might like a book called The Bicameral Mind that has that thesis. Very cool. All right, guys. I'll see you on Tuesday. We went a little late. I will see you guys then. Like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is free. Liking is free, and it takes half a second.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world.